that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay. It's necessary. What the hell are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up. These men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers. They're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning. This thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death, and often literally. The gratitude for that is sorely lacking, especially among the people who should be most grateful.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
We are currently witnessing the downfall of masculinity. In the past decade, masculinity has plummeted so bad, things are at a critical stage as we speak, and something needs to be done about it with immediate effect and alacrity or way out. We're fucked.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. And only one said she thought women needed a man in their lives, only one. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women, most of them said yes. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless. I mean, and by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men. Nobody can gossip like gay men. Nobody can help you accessorize like gay men. Nobody can help you keep you from doing harm to yourself like gay men.
Us humans, even other species in the animal kingdom, without the male species, is nothing. But where did this all start, and where is it headed? It all started with the Western feminism movement, keyword Western. Women were thought to believe that men were dangerous and callous back then, but that simply wasn't true, because if that was the case, women wouldn't even have a sniff of opportunity to voice their opinion. And this conversation we're currently having will not be happening right now, because women simply won't have an opinion at all. Looking where society is headed currently, women all around the world can now vividly see that the Western feminism movement was a scam to get the woman to hate the man, which will eventually get the man to despise the woman, causing a disruptive and destabilized society.
I just came to a realization these past few days have been so hard for me. Because you know how men say that women have toxic feminism, and you'll get to a certain age and no one will want to marry you and no one will love you. I feel like I've gotten to that point, guys. I was so hung on to this feminism thing, and I missed out on marriage and on children. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm so bitter. I'm so jealous of people who have marriages because they are so happy and their husbands don't even cheat on them. And men are just the best. Right now is when I'm realizing I can't do without them.
Gangster rap, drill, hip-hop and so on, I can openly say is toxic masculinity. But we also have to address gangster female rap in the music industry, cause it has most definitely twisted the minds of our fellow women, undoubtedly selling them a dream and a false ideology of how women are biologically meant to think and act. What happened to the Lauryn Hills? I know for a fact they're out there, but the limelight is stuck on the toxic artists in order to further push the agenda. We have pioneers like Nicki Minaj, Lil Kim, Beyonce, Rihanna, and co. We have the likes of Cardi B, Doja Cat, and Megan Thee Stallion, who came right after. And currently, we have the rise of the likes of Sexy Red, Glorilla, Coily Ray, and the cycle repeats itself. These are the women society currently look up to in the entertainment industry as a whole. Women who are usually in the masculine, meaning they meet a naturally masculine man, they clash with him because someone has to lead, and those women in the masculine are letting their egos get in the way of nature. And I know some of you might bring up the likes of Beyonce, Shakira, and so on. They have the agenda as well they're pushing that affects the man's masculine frame, but that will be reserved for another video. I think it's quite evident that the music industry is playing a big part in the deterioration of masculinity. I mean, it wasn't up to a decade ago. There was no space for things like this in hip-hop. This meaning the emasculation of men as a whole. Hip-hop, although destructive at times, was very much against men dressing or acting like the opposite sex. Not to say there is anything wrong with that, but that is not what hip-hop was all about back then. But in today's day and age, you can clearly see the things have changed. Even the individuals who claim to be the most gang-affiliated and gangsters are all indulging in these questionable acts and portrayal. Then we talk about the real definition of toxic masculinity, the hypersexualizing of women, the unwarranted aggression in music, and the gang affiliation is something I believe is most definitely tearing down the masculine energy of the modern time, down to the frequency in the music.
If you're going to listen to an artist consistently and it's your favorite artist, you most definitely should understand who it is that you're looking into or listening to. But in my situation, they definitely should pay attention to what I am as a person rather than a character. But it is hard to mend these two things together if everything that I portray as an artist is purely art. So it's hard to tell if as a person that anything that is controversial or spoken on about me is remotely even true. There's brainwashing that gets involved in music, in the music industry, like recording things backwards and all these different things that people don't know, frequency channelings and different things like that.
If you compared boys and men in the 60s and 70s and 80s to boys and men of today's age, it is quite obvious who not only appears more masculine, but also who thinks and acts more masculine. Clearly, there's an agenda here to make the men physically, mentally, and emotionally weaker for a takeover. And the plan seems to be working very well, as a matter of fact, all thanks to social media influencers and celebrities whose sole purpose is to influence the masses and lead us to the slaughterhouse eventually. You see, if these controllers succeed in making most men weak, who will protect the family? Who will fight against the oppressors physically? There are many ways to fight the oppressors, and women can do too, in their own way. But when it comes to pure physicality, aggression, and brute strength, that's a masculine trait. Look at a pride of lions, for example. When the females go hunting, the male lions seem lazy and borderline useless, right? But when a pack of hyenas come to disrupt the environment and habitat, who do you think they fear more? The lion or the lioness? Take a wild guess. Of course it's the lion. Look at this troop of baboons, for example. Just watch the way the alpha set up to protect the troops from falling victim to the raging leopard. Men and women, males and females, are all important to society. You cannot have one without the other. That is why men seek their opposite in women, whilst women seek their opposite in men. It is very paramount that we protect both masculinity and femininity.
Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers got to wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And you put this dress on, and what? A prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. Am I Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then, like, the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So then, wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? This is, oh, gosh, this guy's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers comes, come on, David, would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why are they putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Damn, how did you write the scene so fast?
Another huge and influential industry promoting the deterioration of masculinity is the Hollywood industry. This industry has had a lot of controversial situations in the past, from the Harvey Weinstein situation to the Ezra Miller situation. But when it comes to the emasculation of men, this definitely takes a cake. Should I say no, Diddy? Oh, never mind. I think it is clear that Hollywood has a habit of putting men in dresses. But for what reason? Is there anything positive that can possibly come out of this? What they're doing is slowly changing our subconscious mind to be fine and accepting and slowly usher in the new normal. Meaning sooner or later, we will be so programmed, all these things we find weird will be so normalized. They're even trying to do the same thing with pedophilia. Crazy times, crazy people. I mean, once upon a time, women were in a hurry to show their lady bits to the world. Look how normalized it is now. Once upon a time, entities weren't openly changing the sex, facial features, even height. Look at it all being normalized now. The controllers want a time to come when the definition of masculinity will be femininity, and vice versa.
This is the Drag the Kids to Pride event at Mr. Mister's in Dallas's Oaklawn neighborhood. Organizers promoted it as a family-friendly drag show where kids danced with the performers. What came with it were protests outside.
You people are the symptom of a dying society, and you know it.
You're scaring children! Shut up! I live in this community. I have for several years.
Daisy says she first saw a poster for this event near where she lives.
I don't believe that I should be seeing signs advertising for children to be dancing on stage with men in thongs and in inappropriate clothing and makeup.
Disturbing footage surfaced of a drag queen performing in front of infants. Yes, infants. The vision is so shocking that we have to heavily blur it. But these are grown adults in bondage gear or in G-strings strutting around in front of tiny kids, infants, toddlers. The heavily sexualized drag shows is just the latest in a growing list of drag events being targeted towards children.
Now, I don't know why there are so many adults watching this 13-year-old boy pretend to be a girl and dance this way on stage, but I think it's very suspicious that there are so many. Not only that, I want to know exactly who is the person who taught this kid how to act and dance this way. Check out this video. It's really crazy.
Now, this is by far the most devastating part of the video. It is rather upsetting knowing that these kids' parents put them in these positions and let these criminals groom their kids in their presence. The kids are the future of tomorrow, and the trauma they will be enduring in the nearest future, as well as the damage they can possibly inflict on our society, is incomprehensible. Society is failing our kids. We must do better.
Yeah, she called me and told me that she had an issue up here about my grandson being in a dress. I mean, I'm trying to see what the issue is about that.
Okay, you'll have to talk to Dara.
Who's
She's the
Dara?
director. She's down in the other classroom.
Is she the one that was in charge of the kids while my grandson?
I was, but I can't talk to you.
Why?
Because you're not on the form. So we'll have to get Dara up here and see if she will let you. Let me talk to you about it.
I mean, first of all, I'm coming down here because we don't do that. The transgender and all that. We don't do that.
I understand. I don't either.
And I don't appreciate you encouraging him to put on no dress for the second day too. I don't appreciate that. And don't think this is going away. I'm going further with this.
Okay, you can go down and talk.
No, I'm not done talking to you. I'm letting you know the next time that you put any kid in a dress, we're gonna make you go viral.
Okay, you need to go talk to my director. Because I, as a teacher.
No, I'm letting you know I got an issue with you about that. I'm not playing with you.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you feel that way. But you should have called me before you made the decision to put my grandson in a dress.
Okay, you can speak to the
No, I'm speaking to you.
Please do not talk to me in that tone with my children
I
around.
wouldn't be up here if you wouldn't put my grandson in no dress.
Again,
Well, do what you gotta
take it
do.
up with Miss
No,
Dara.
I'm taking it up with you.
Please lower your voice. You're in a classroom.
I'm taking it up with you. Well, you shouldn't have put my grandson in no dress.
He's two.
This ain't over with, all right?
Introducing to you the top gang in 2023, 2024. Now, I have to be very clear. I have no issue, no problem with the trans people, gay people, lesbians, and so on and so forth. My problems and issues are with these corporations, because that is exactly what they are. They make a fortune from capitalizing on the confusion of today's society. They really do want to turn all men into women and vice versa. That is the main objective of the LGBT blah 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 blah. Okay, I can't say the word because they might just cancel me. That's ridiculous. Like I was saying, they really want to turn all men into women and vice versa. That is their main objective for population control and to eradicate the idea of family values leaving society in tatters. I mean, just look at the chakras. Their primary objective is to turn everything nature inside out. And that is a real definition of Satanism. Hence why you see a growing amount of trans people today being celebrated, even in Africa. They even have a whole month to themselves. They are not there to encourage you and to make you feel good and comfortable about your sexuality or what sexuality you think you are. Their plan is a lot more sinister than that. Unfortunately, it's to reverse our gender roles, knowing that that will completely make society weaker and confused, making it perfect for their takeover, which they've been planning for decades. I'm talking not even decades, centuries. And I'm talking about the New World Order, aka Agenda 2030. When men become women and women become men, and both are taken out of their natural positions, everything becomes destabilized and chaos occurs. Men can no longer fight wars, they'll rather make TikTok dances to the latest Beyonce songs, and women won't want to nurture kids anymore. They'll rather be independent boss-ass bitches, or so they call themselves these days.
I got married, but I don't want to be with
You
them.
got
I
married?
Yeah.
You currently married?
Yes. I'm
Oh,
married, yeah.
no. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Ma'am, are you trolling me?
No, I'm not.
You broke
know,
up. This guy called it out, and and you said you wouldn't gotten therapy, and you're married, and you're actively on a platform with 1 million folks, actively talking about leaving your husband to get back with your ex.
Because he's high value.
Speaking of independent bosses bitches, that's kind of funny, just saying that. Speaking of independent bosses bitches, Western feminism has got to be one of the biggest scams of the 21st century. Western feminism is very different from the feminism of the past. First wave feminism were very dedicated to a cause, wanted equality, and were very, very conservative and respectable women in general. However, the current Western feminists, to be exact, seem to have lost the plot. They're extremely entitled and do not want to quote-unquote settle for equality anymore. They have been convinced by the mainstream media that they are better than men and deserve the world. It began in New York City, March 8th, 1857, when female textile workers marched in protest of unfair working conditions and unequal rights for women. It was one of the first organized strikes by working women, during which they called for a shorter workday and decent wages, which then led to the sisterhood movement, which led to the Me Too movement, which then led to the Believe All Women movement, and then the Slut Walk movement, most of which played a pivotal role in the destruction of femininity, which automatically affects the masculinity because, after all, they are both connected. They're one. This section is very huge, so I'll be releasing an entire video dedicated to this topic called The Wave of Feminism.
Can I kiss you?
Sure.
Is that all?
Dating apps most definitely contribute to the feeling of loneliness and frustration for most men, potentially leading to the involvement in incel communities. The constant swiping and superficial judgments on these apps can make men feel inadequate or rejected, worsening their sense of isolation. For those who struggle with social skills or self-esteem issues, repeated experiences of rejection can amplify feelings of loneliness and fuel resentment towards women and society. This can push them towards incel communities where they find validation for beliefs and grievances. However, it is essential to note that dating apps affect individuals differently, and not all men who use them experience these negative effects. Pornography and platforms like OnlyFans impacts men in various ways. They may influence attitudes towards sex and relationship, shape unrealistic expectations about sexual performance and body image, and potentially contribute to compulsive or addictive behavior. Promoting education about healthy sexuality and providing support for those struggling with compulsive behaviors is crucial. This also leads to men feeling a lot less confident when dealing with women, as well as completely destroying the self-control around women sexually, boosting the egos of the women around them, especially the ones they find attractive. And they do this with the hopes of getting sex, love, and affection from them. And it only leads to one thing, and that's the destruction of masculinity. In summary, the changing ideas about masculinity are influenced by societal shifts and individual experiences. Traditional views of masculinity are being questioned as society evolves, with pressure to conform to rigid gender roles and challenges like loneliness and mental health issues adding to the mix. To address this, we need to embrace diversity, support mental health, and promote understanding amongst all genders for a more inclusive and compassionate society. If this information resonates with you in any way, shape, or form, please click on the subscribe button, like, share, and comment on the video, and let's push this message out there. We're all gonna make it eventually. Some of us just need more time than others. Thank you, and one love.